Aftermath to riots, all citizens must play. To myself, everywhere, cry out, break. Break all our securities and break out. Explore only the ranges beyond our mastering. Take on the inexorable demands made by a norm of unpremeditated excellence. Forget the elegant speeches, the unbreakable delicacy or cello resonance of art. Forget faceless imperial worldwide governance and its shimmery statistical sheen. Why, even the memory traces of classical Greece's music are long forgotten. The empire then was Rome's. Our own skills and achievements are imprisoned by managed relationships. No one can manage, quite. Money we used to see in metal baubles jig along the wires. There's a long footnote to that line. The metal baubles. Back when the new technology was electricity, the first department stores were festooned with maypole radiating wires. The dancers' ends came down to clerks parceling purchases. The money offered and the invoices were stuffed in metal baubles and sent off jigging up the wires to the store's one changemaker, stamper of receipts, set apart up on a mezzanine level, caged, but always in plain view. Money is no longer visible. Now it vaporizes and disperses somehow and settles over all of us. We turn into a monstrous sameness, a jumble within one skin, a skin pulled taut until it hurts, the whole ungeographical world of us. Break out. Break from all safe, comprehensive arguments, never completely comprehended by controllers or controlled. Once there were landscapes, features, rugged outcroppings, signatures bespeaking persons. Now they all melt into categories till conglomeration begins to make categories a fiction, although still a soothing one. Security shackles us in shames and helplessness. The insecure are bony. They shuffle past, lean anywhere, drained clean of expecting or of anything beyond the courage to go on daily surviving. Beware of any notion of safety from having clustered under some forced or chosen minority. All of them are self-centered. All a security that blinds and deafens, exposing flank and heart to poisons from within as well. Where can anyone find sanctuary now that lethal puffs drift out of a fair sky, drift down? Gunshot crackles in the streets after our sheltering walls have crumpled, and still the illustrious ones, the conference diplomats, the key negotiators, a unique minority, are emperors on parade, unaware of being not even clad, let alone cloaked. Some count on the majority out there, bland in its openness, our security in the social swim. But like so many sure foundations, latterly this one seems unsettlingly wobbly. The animus keeps fading into passivity. Many that were supports, happily tolerating anything almost, now lean to imbalance, straggling off. Stop them. Break these vanilla-eyed visions, spongy with yearnings for prophesied pre-dawn light this very day. Nightfall is near. Break in, break up all our so solid structures for the glory of nothing to hold on to but untried air currents, the crack and ricochet of impact, risk survival into some indestructible transmuted loss. There will begin perhaps a slow, secret, gradual germinating in the darkness. balancing out. He smells of what? It's like wet coal dust. He came very late. Tangled brown hair, his face streaked and bleary. No gloves, but Merry Christmas from a mission, twice blessed. A good warm coat that could go anywhere, and had. Now puckered, snagged, hem spread from sleeping out, and ripped around one leather elbow, and button crooked. There were no other buttons now. He slept there in his pew. The giver of his top coat eerily watched, her widow's desolation clearly inconsolable now. A pang like joy to see what she had seen on a fine and steady man made come full circle on this ruined fellow. Still, he had his coat, and she the echoing years. Dividing goods. They say it's wrong to push a parable. Figures of speech are still themselves responsible for their tendrils, though these stray. Words have their life too, won't compact into a theorem. Take the story of the prodigal son. An invisible third son is not mentioned, yet he had it all, had prized it all, wanted all of it for all, so had himself to leave it all. But this one is the only visible one. He tells the family story, a simple tale, but somehow unresolved so that its tendrils cling timelessly. Through his eyes we see pathos in their wanting something else. Fool's gold restores a starveling's taste for a healthy meal of bread at home. Or the older brother, wanting something because deserving more than the dogged servitude. Yet from the outset the portion that is mine, had to be less than all. All these were dear to the one who owns and gives and loves on. He was there, he was here. A whiskered mask was all I saw at the milker's twilight hour of the glimmery ghost of Fortinbras, not in Denmark, but here. Wings creaked deep before daybreak and flapped, bird necks astretch out beyond sight in the ghoul light, straw smell, wet armor brass. The whiskery glint was gone. Nobody passed by the smoking glass of the lost lake either that morn. Where had he gone? Whom had he seen? Indeed, what he might have wanted invisibly wired the hours between wharf and the usual noon canteen, but it made both disjointed. As the day wears on, those shin-bone greaves and that bale-bright glaring no one believes, nor the milk-warm farm he haunted. Lament for Byways. The harrowed city swirls with grit. It's thundery with the chutes emitting shards, broken stone from in behind brickwork, gone to dust within. New little canopies appear, wooden partitions shield the passer-by from inward operations. Something else under the wrecker, shovel and scoop. Through spy-holed fences we inspect the backs of streets we knew before. Some starts should not be stopped at a dead end. This habitual shortcut ought to open on my old friend, the boarded-up, blue, disused warehouse, well known to me. Here where it stood is just a pavement and empty sky. With the old shortcut in mind, will we bear with it, white and flat? Somehow the cars keep blinding the last few alleys we had. These handsome new high-rises help us to overlook throbbing cement truck noises and gritty slime underfoot. Yesterday's old blue eyesore is now a new tidied-up sight. But, my city, it's still in your lanes and mews that your heart beats. Notes from Dr. Carson's exposition of 1 John 5. He takes us into his selfless self for saving from what dazed and distracts us as each preoccupied and swarming lonelily is out for his own for one already fading day. Why? Is it the way to pure delight? The very opposite of what we thought? Or not, we think, fitting for us as we ourselves, not his self, would trust. Pacing the turn of the year. A sudden season has changed our world. Everybody is out to sea or bask or with their kind to exuberate. Everything is new. Trees that were only sticks into the overcast yesterday are soft and full of catkins like newly shampooed children being readied for the party. Slender young saplings shine, all the tender leaves distinct. Notes of music a-tremble for a chance musician strolling by to hear and play, for everybody on bikes or park benches or wandering along the way the city buses, dazed, wended their way anywhere on the odd, quiet morning the European war was somehow ended. Nobody felt like cavorting, singing, dancing, as their parents, 1918 in November, had. A muted celebration this sudden season, all but the oak. Rusty tatters left from far-off August's leafy towers and gables, the deeps and fullness, the amassing in gloom and shadow of greenness. Now ruined arthritic knobs and wrenched limbs, next to nothing now covering his nakedness. The new is going to last. These celebrants toss their curls and rollerblade past the question. It was not posed by the dour oaks, stollider even than the firs, their shabby winter wear refurbished at the tips, standing there woodenly under scrambling squirrels, a warm bath of sunshine, thunderstorm by turn. Part of celebration is to discover patience, and how painful hope can be. Alone and mute stands dark one huge oak tree. Ramsden. Let's go to the park where the dogs and children cluster and circle and run under the somber old trees. They are hanging onto their swarthing leaves, while the young medallion trees in the early sun are dancing among them. The knapsack students, too, hurtle, always too late, focused on the there, blindingly swerving out of the now and here, where children and dogs and a few rather shabby, slow old ones straying move across the owners, standing with loose leashes, intent on their day. The benched but sleepless mothers and nannies watching are quieted here, warmed and fed by the good old trees and the shining little ones.